Yes, folks, it's Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. I'm going to talk today a little bit about the Metropolitan Police, seeing as this is about imprisonment and prisons and false imprisonment and false arrest and more problems with the Met. I'm afraid so. You see, the Metropolitan Police have been using excessive force on arresting a 14-year-old, was it 13 or 14? Anyway, this happened on the 23rd of June in 2022 in Croydon on a place called Black Horse Road. And the police had responding to a report that a teenage boy, 13 years old, had been robbed at knife point by 4 school children. And he was at a tram stop, apparently. Anyway, the grounds for detaining this boy, Deshawn, were that they believed he was one of the suspects who had attacked this boy. They had no other reason to do it other than he was a coloured young man in a school uniform. And they grabbed him and knelt on his back. I mean, he's 14 years old, don't forget, and these are grown men grabbing this boy, putting him on the pavement, face down onto the pavement, restraining him, handcuffing him, and kneeling on his back. And his boy's name was Deshawn, and his mother, Janet Joseph, has made a formal complaint to the Met, alleging that they used excessive force in dealing with her son. You would think, I mean, after the George Floyd problem in America, where they actually killed the man by kneeling on his neck. I mean, come on, you don't need to do that. I mean, I've restrained many big, powerful men, along with a team of other people, of course, or on my own if I had to. But I've never actually murdered anybody. I've put people down and handcuffed them and put them into body belts and what amounts to a straitjacket, forcibly inject them. But I mean, these things you have to do when you're attacked. I mean, don't forget, if you're in the prisons and you're going in there starting at 7 a.m. in the morning and you're going to work till at least 5:30 at night, you could be working till 9 o'clock at night. That's 14 hours. You're not going in there looking for trouble, are you? Unless you're completely insane, yeah? I mean, can you imagine 14 hours of being actually ready to rock and roll all the time? You're not trying to do it. I mean, basically, if you've got any sense, you get in there and taking a steady pace. And if it presents itself, then you deal with it. But you deal with it in an appropriate manner. And it seems to me that the Metropolitan Police have kind of lost this idea. They're doing a great deal, of course, of this stop and search, and apparently you are 15 times more likely to be stopped and searched in London if you are if you've got black skin than if you've got white skin. I mean, I am 74 years of age, and I've been around the world, and yet never in all my 74 years have I been stopped by the police and searched. I'll tell you what I have. During the Troubles, my vehicle was stopped and searched, along with every other vehicle, by the way. They were stopping all the vehicles and searching them. But, I mean, that happened to me. And I had my mother-in-law in, my wife, and we'd been to see my grandparents. So we didn't exactly look like terrorists, but they still stopped and searched it. It was when I had a clapped-out old Triumph Herald and the back wouldn't open properly. I think they thought that was a bit suspicious, but they didn't step on my neck, let me tell you that. Anyway, those were the days, so apparently the Metropolitan Police are once again presenting problems for the public by overreacting, snatching the first individual they can see and banging him onto the floor. I mean, if you're a 14-year-old boy and the police do that to you, it's going to twist your mind about the police for the rest of your life. I mean, you're not going to trust them. And the problem is that, as I see it, is that the police are there to protect the citizens, not to persecute the citizens. And we're all citizens, whether we're Indonesian, African, Chinese, English, don't matter what race we are citizens of this country, and we deserve to be treated with respect. And I have seen police in action that definitely indicates that that isn't the case all the time. So anyway, there it is, a little rant for today about the wrong attitude, bad attitude of the police. And you can actually see this if you go online. You can see it. All you've got to do is type in Met Police Officers Excessive Force, yeah, and it's up there. It shows you images, shows you video footage of the boy being held down because they were wearing cameras, you see, body cameras. I mean, only a young boy, and there's 3 police officers at him, and one of them's kneeling on his back, and the other one's sitting on his legs. I mean, how dangerous is this 14-year-old boy? For goodness sake, yeah? Where's it all going to end? I think it's going to end in further trouble, is it not? So, anyway, I do use the song dinger now and again. Oh, by the way, yeah, if you look in today's Daily Mirror, you will see an article about Sean Atwood. Yeah, now Sean Atwood is my publisher. Publishes this book, yeah. Sean Atwood is the publisher of my book, and there's a big article about Sean Atwood in the Daily Mirror today about sitting down talking to gangsters. He goes and interviews gangsters, you see. Well, he's 20 years younger than me. He can get out there and do it. Right, and now, as I said, I've dinged the song dinger, so if you're going to do a runner up the hills, it's time to go. Grab your goat and go for it, Larry. In the meantime, all those of you who are sitting through this, I'm going to read you a poem. This is by Dylan Thomas. He was only a young man when he died. I think he was 39, 40, yeah. He died in New York. I believe he was not diagnosed as a diabetic, and he went into the bar and did a bottle of whiskey, went to his room in the Chelsea Hotel, by the way, and that's where he died. And this is a poem by Dylan Thomas. Do not go gentle into that good night. And I'm certainly no intention of going gently, as you probably observed. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at end of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Though wise men at their end know dark is right, because their words had forked no lightning, they do not go gentle into that good night. Good men, the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Wild men who caught and sang the sun in light, and learned too late they grieved it on its way. Do not go gentle into that good night. Grave men near death, who see with blinding light, blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. And you, my father, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Do not go gentle into that good night by Dylan Thomas. Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. Thank you very much.